Hey everybody. Yeah, got a little stuff here from Walmart, so you'll see what it is when I do, like, I guess a little hoarding video, or a little pickup video, DVD video game pickup video, whatever you want to call it. So you'll check that out in a little while. But first of all, I want to talk about the WWE Network. You know, we all have a mixed reaction to the WWE Network. You know, we either feel that it's a good thing, and sometimes we feel it's a bad thing. Now, some would say financially, right now, it's a bad thing for WWE because it's what's causing them to lose out on a lot of money. You know, case in point, Vince McMahon is no longer among the billionaires, he's just back to millionaires. You know, but that's not to say that Vince McMahon won't get back to the billionaire stratosphere. Oh, he will. Does that mean, now, does the WWE Network account for some of that failure? Of course it does, maybe, because it's basically you're losing out on a lot of profits. Losing out on a lot of profits, if you will. Of course, it'd be the other side that does it. But again, like I said, you're losing out on a lot of profits, especially if those profits excuse me for a second. Again, like I said, especially if those profits come mostly from your pay-per-view buy rates. I mean, think about it this way. You used to be on top of the pay-per-view world with your buy rates at times. They used to sustain, well, not on top of the world, but let's put it this way. When WWE, before the network even launched, WWE was, whether you liked the pay-per-view or not, whether the buy rates were good or not, still were doing financially well. And it kept Vince McMahon a billionaire. But then when the network launched, of course you had a lot of detractors because they're like, why do we want to associate ourselves with WWE if they're going to pretty much say, hey, we're going to take the pay-per-views that you charge $49, $59, $69 for, depending on which version you get, whether you get standard def, high def, or even 3D. You know, you have these cable companies and satellite companies and dish DirecTV companies going like, why do we want to associate ourselves with them if they're going to take away our pay-per-view business? Because you see, financially, even though the WWE Network, from the pay-per-view standpoint, is hurting them, you know, the cable companies, the dish companies, the satellite companies and all that, they take a huge hit as well, because it's like, basically, they're losing out on their share of that pay-per-view profit. Now, you might say, oh, well, they got TNA and soon to be Ring of Honor to depend on. Yeah, but here's the problem. TNA doesn't charge that much for their pay-per-views. And that's basically half, if not a very less percentage than what WWE, than what they would get if WWE had a pay-per-view going. A very less percentage. I mean, think about it this way. You pay $39.95, if not $29.95 or $14.95 for some of TNA's pay-per-views. Now, true, you can say, well, TNA is going to help the pay-per-view, the cable companies make up for the loss of the WWE Network with these one-night-only stuffs and these unfinished business events. And yeah, that's true, but then again, where's the huge percentage that they get out of that they used to get with WWE? See, that is why financially the WWE Network, in the eyes of some, is hurting the WWE, because of the fact that you have cable companies, you have certain cable companies, dish network companies and all that basically saying screw the WWE. They don't want to play by our rules. They want to take away our revenue. We're gonna end any association with them and take any revenue they would have away from them. So yeah, even though you might say, like I said, TNA and even though you might say TNA and Ring of Honor might sort of make up for it, yeah, they can make up for it, but it's going to take a long time for them to make up for any kind of revenue the cable companies might lose because of WWE going with the network. Now, is it a negative? Now, that is a negative for both sides. One, certain cable companies and dish networks and all that lose that revenue and percentage they used to share with the WWE when the pay-per-views were ordered. But on the other hand, WWE loses out on that huge pay-per-view buy rate they used to take a huge chunk out of every time they had a pay-per-view, especially WrestleMania. And now they got to deal with the fact that they got to somehow make up for that. And some people might say, well, they're going to make up for it. It's just going to take time for them to build back up that financial status they once had. Well, that's true. But yet, you have a lot of people still criticizing them for this network. You have some new investors coming in and, some new people investing in the company and saying, hey, look, the only way this company is going to succeed and get back to that billionaire stratosphere, back to that billionaire standpoint, is they need to remove all the people that are making the stupid mistakes. When you take a look at some of the investors, when you take a look at some of the investors, when you take a look at some of these investors, if you will, especially some of the new ones, some people may say, well, they don't know the wrestling business. They don't know the ins and outs. And that might be true, but then again, they may not know the wrestling business in and out, but they know financially what succeeds and what doesn't. And I'm pretty sure some of these guys and gals are like, you know what? If we were running things in this company, yeah, we would have launched a network, but we would have done something different. We would have done it differently. And I'll tell you how they would have done it. The same way I'm sure anybody watching this video, like me, would have done it if they were running the WWE, knowing that potentially and financially this network could hurt me. This is what I would do. This is just me. This is just me, folks. This is just me. And again, I know I'm not the only one alone in this. But this is what I'm sure a lot of people, like these guys and gals of these groups that invest in the company and the stock and all that, this is probably what they're thinking. They're probably thinking, yeah, we would have launched the network too, but we would have launched it with the exception that the only thing you're going to get on this network is everything that you see except for the pay-per-views. Yeah. They would have launched the network with the exception, with everything that we got right now, with the exception of no pay-per-views. Yeah, you can have the pre-shows, you can have the post-shows and the fallouts, you can have the video library and all that, but the pay-per-views are a separate entity. In other words, yeah, you can watch the pre-show and the pre-show match, but if you want the pay-per-view, turn off your Xbox, turn off your Roku, turn on your cable or your dish, your cable box or your dish box or your satellite box, and order it that way. And to me, I think that's how they would have done it. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this would agree with that, because even though they like the value that the WWE is giving them, I mean, I do. You can't really blame, anybody for thinking like that. And financially, that's probably the only negative. That was a little bug on me. Financially, that's probably the only negative you got. The only negative you have is that. But on the bright side, though, even if offering the pay-per-views as part of the WWE Network package, may have, even though that may have financially hit them hard, as some people are indicating, along with some other mistakes they've made, there is positives. Like I said, financially it may have not been a good idea, but positively, you get all these pay-per-views. You would spend literally, if you were to spend everything you had, not everything, but if you were to spend $60 a month or $50 a month times 12, okay, let's say you spend $50, $60 out of those 11 months, in $69, $79 for 1 month of pay-per-views. So, like I said, if you were to spend, how much more would you be spending beyond $9.99? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. So to me, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. If anything, I think it's a great bargain. And yeah, negatively, financially, from a negative financial standpoint, it may hurt the company, but in the long run, I think it's going to help, because they're going to go up until next year, and before this year's out, they're going to have other subscriptions coming. They're going to have they're going to have the UK, they're going to have Australia, they're going to have Japan, they're going to have all of Europe, you name it. They're going to have these companies, not these companies, but these countries, literally eating out of their hands for this network and for the bargain it gives them. Even if they raise the price, even if they say, okay, we're going to raise it to $12.95, that's still a better bargain than what you're getting paying for regular pay-per-views. And believe it or not, a lot of people are going to agree with that. They are. A lot of people are going to agree with that status. They're going to say, yeah, I like this bargain. I like this deal. They're not going to hide it and say, oh, well, we don't like it. They're going to say they like it. They're going to embrace it. They're going to say, yes, this is good. This is great. They're going to say, yes, this is good. This is great. We like this bargain. We love this network. They're not going to lie about it when the time is right. They're not going to lie or anything about that. They're going to enjoy it. Quite frankly, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to enjoy the bargain that they get with it, whether it's raised up by $3 or not. They're going to enjoy the bargain. You know why? Because it's a bargain worth having. It's a bargain worth having because you save money. No matter how you look at it, you save a lot of money. And I think that's the one thing a lot of people have to look at. And that's how down the line, WWE is going to financially make themselves better. Another positive, believe it or not, the way I look at it, is unlike USA lately, and maybe even Sci-Fi, and even sometimes pay-per-views, depending on who your pay-per-view provider is, you can actually record the stuff on the network. Yeah. See down there? I don't know if you can see that well. Let me give you some light. But you see down there? That is my Xbox connected to my DVD recorder, and that right there was recently NXT TakeOver that it recorded just now while I was gone. Yeah. That's a benefit right there. For anybody that may have a Blu-ray recorder or a DVD recorder of whatever kind, you can record the programming off WWE Network. Which means you can record essentially a $59, $69, a $59.90, a $60, $70 pay-per-view for $9.99 a month. I mean, I don't see the problem. I mean, yes, there are some yes, there are negatives. Like I say, financially, it's going to hurt them, but positively, it's going to help them. Yeah, they're going to negatively, they're going to lose a lot of detractors and all that. You know, and some of the negatives, like, you know, the buffings and, you know, kind of like the little skips here and there, they need to fix those, because those, they may be small negatives, but, you know, it does get annoying when you're watching a pay-per-view or an NXT event like TakeOver, and you get these little buffings in between, you get these little skips in between. It's annoying to people. It's annoying, and they don't like it. It gets annoying to them, so they want it changed. So they're going to want it changed and fixed. And I'm sure WWE is going to do what they can to make that happen. The point is, you know, WWE Network does have its good and it has its bad. The good, it's a great bargain for what it is right now, even if they raise it by $3. You know, you can actually watch and record, if you have a DVD or Blu-ray recorder, or even an SD card for all I know, or a capture card for all I know, I don't know. You can actually record on your DVD or Blu-ray recorder, or even your VHS recorder if you still use that. You can record the programming, the shows that you're watching, and you got an endless library to use. And you can record the live pay-per-views. So what's the big deal? What's the big freaking deal? Huh? What's the big deal of... So what's the big deal? You know, with, you know, with some of that negativity. You know, what's the big freaking deal of saying either it's good or it's bad? It's both. It's got, like I said, it's got its bad, and it's got its good. It's good, great value. You get a lot of things, even the live pay-per-views for $9.95. Even if they raise it up by a few dollars, still a good bargain. You can actually record the programs without worrying about copy protection. Actually, for some odd reason, USA decides to do that. You can actually go back and watch the pay-per-view event you missed and record it. You can actually record old programming of the past that you grew up on, so you could say, hey, at least now I have it on record. I have it back, you know, in my possession. Like, let's say you used to record World Class or whatever, or AWA, you can actually have it now. And you lost the VHS, you can actually record it now. Just saying. Again, these are all positives that you got to look at, and I look at them as strong positives. And basically, for WWE Network, in my opinion, the positives outweigh the negatives. Yeah, the only big negative is the financial status, but I think they're going to make that up. So, let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to you.